All right, so we're here for week 3 of Coach's Corner, and Joe, to start out, we were talking about our big game hunting last time, and I think you have something new to show us this week.
Yeah, it's something we're excited about. And again, we talked about something that we kind of put in the locker room, and we had a matchup with UNC Wilmington, a perennial top 25 baseball team, and Kyle McMahon went out on a Friday night on their home turf, and we were able to get a 4-3 victory over the Seahawks, and we're going to get to hang the Seahawk in the locker room. So it's something that we, like I said, we have a lot of fun with. The players really get involved with it, and when we make these type of trips to those different type of environments, and coming out and being able to kind of hang this in our locker room for 2011 is something that's it's very important, very special for the ball club.
All right, so coming out of the spring break trip, you come home for the home schedule and have 2 weeks in a row of good weather, and I think just being on the field pretty much every day is all you can ask for at this point in the year.
Yeah, I think it's especially important for this ball club because there's so much we're trying to find out about ourselves. Really trying to find our identity as a ball club, especially on the offensive side. We've had a number of different lineups, and being able to play every day, pretty much so. We haven't had any games canceled yet. It's just something important. As time has gone on, we've played better. Defense, pitching is improved in some areas, and the lineup's starting to kind of shape itself. We played a number of freshmen. We played a number of new players. Geegan and Zach, they're junior college guys. We experimented with a guy like Kevin Wager in a number of spots in the lineup, and you can't do that in practice. You got to do that on the field. And we paid with some losses because of trying to figure out our identity. But at the end of the day, as we're getting closer and closer to Big East play, that's been something that's been very important for the ball club, to have some consistency, to get on the field together every day and just play baseball games.
Now, talk about the lineup a little bit, because like you said, you've tried out a number of different options, but especially the last few games, it seems like there's a group that's been out there which is starting to click a little bit.
Yeah, it's been a funny year. I don't know if we played the same lineup twice. I really don't. Maybe maybe we did down in Norfolk State. Maybe we didn't. But you take a guy like Kevin Wager. Wage is hitting the 1, the 2. Probably 7, 8, 9. He was in the lineup, out of the lineup, and there's a handful of guys like that. Dane Hall as well. Dane's hit, I think, every spot. 1 through 4. And some of that is taking your experienced guys, the guys that you're counting on, a guy like Dave Kazurka that's been a 4-year starter, a guy like Matt Fleischman that's been starting, trying to put them in the best spots where they can have success in RBI situations. And then, putting some of the new guys in, Jordan Zach and Andrew Geegan and Connor Jones, Tyler Reich, et cetera, trying to put them in different spots at the bottom of the lineup where there's not so much pressure on them early in the baseball game. So, it's I don't want to say it's been a struggle. It's just been the lack of consistency up and down the lineup from a day-to-day basis that we're able just to say, hey, we're going to run this lineup out there today and, go get them. I think yesterday, we just took the approach versus Lehigh. Let's just put the best defensive lineup we can put out there. Let's just defend the field the best we can. And, that kind of seemed to pay off. We'll probably run the same lineup out there again on Friday. And it's been some time since I've been able to say that.
And it definitely paid off. You played great defense in that game against Lehigh yesterday. So turning to pitching a little bit, I think recently you've had some great pitching performances, whether it's been the consistency of Kyle McMahon in every start, or Pat Young in relief last weekend, or Jerry Battipaglia with a great start against Lehigh. So talk about the pitching a little bit.
Yeah, I think the pitching's come around. I think like every team, especially Villanova, as I said in my interview yesterday, we have to pitch to win. That's how our team's structured. That's how our program's structured. We play in a big ballpark. We spend a lot of funding on pitching. We have good arms. Our traditions in pitching, we have guys in the big leagues that are pitchers that played here in the last 10 years. And they have to come to the ballpark every day and give us some consistency. And where we're at right now, we're getting really quality starts, on one day, and then not so much maybe the next day. And I think as soon as we get that cleaned up on the next day, I think that's going to give a chance for the team to kind of get on a roll. And that's what Kyle Helisek's up against on Friday. I think McMine has been good, almost every time out. But he should be good. This is a guy that's going to be a high draft pick. He's a guy that, we talked about being the guy at Villanova, the guy that beat UNC Wilmington 4-3 on their home turf and struck them out 10 times. He needs to be good. There's no getting around that. Pat Young could be more happier with him. He's a freshman. He's had great success out of the bullpen. He throws strikes. He has some velo, has good secondary stuff. Baggs, as you mentioned, Baggs did a great job in 2 starts, just only because we were coming in on 2-game skids, and Jerry was able to beat North Carolina Central. He should beat North Carolina Central, but should and doing are 2 different things, and he did a great job versus Lehigh. Jerry Bagatelle should beat Lehigh, and he went out and he beat Lehigh, and that's kind of what we've been struggling with a little bit with our pitching staffs and the consistency, that we have our starters going out there and just beat who you're supposed to beat. And that's what we've been missing with the consistency. I think overall, I think Francisco's kind of settled down. I think Diaz has kind of settled down. I've been pleased with Max Almonte. Tom DeSaro has shown some encouragement. He's been out for 2 years. He's, the 2 outings that he's been out there briefly, looks like he has some good velo, on the baseball. We're still working in Matt Lengel and Matt Longfield and Steve Osterpeck. So I think it has the makings of a good pitching staff. It's not there. It's closer to being there than, maybe on the offensive side. But at the end of the day, it's got to get there really by Friday. St. Pete's, we need a good outing on Friday.
All right, and then talk about this tournament that we have coming up. We've been a great home team. We've been very successful in the Big 5 Bash that we're hosting. So what are you looking forward to this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, these are always fun weekends. I think that's the nice thing that, with these tournaments, being able to stay at home for 2 weekends, we kind of, enjoy some of the same, feelings and successes that like an SEC or an ACC team, any sport, you name whatever sport you want to name in college athletics, professional athletics, you need to win at home, you need to play well at home, and you should like playing at home. And being able to stay at home for 2 weekends, being able to work on our field, getting extra work, not worrying about the wear and tear of travel is very beneficial, for Villanova. This weekend we're bringing in Manhattan. This will be the first time we played Manhattan. They're the second time in the tournament. And Manhattan was in the regionals, I think 2 of the last 3 years, real strong ball club. Fairfield, it's a second trip for Fairfield to our tournament. Their head coach, John Slozar, a good friend of mine. He's retiring this year, so we'll get to see John before he goes away. And then St. Peter's, I think they've been in the tournament almost every year, and I tell you what, they've been a thorn in my side. They beat us twice in this tournament, and it's ironically that the guy they beat twice was Kevin Mulvey, guy pitching in the big leagues for the Diamondbacks and the Twins. So, Friday will be a tough game. St. Pete's always plays extremely hard versus. And then the team we're not playing this weekend is New York Tech. They're the 4th team in. They'll be playing the other Big 5 teams, and this is the first time they made a trip down here. So, being able to have, we're really the only team, or I should say at least the original team that had tournaments in the Northeast, and we always have a nice selection of ball clubs. There's always some returnees, and then a sprinkle of some new teams as well.